Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that's often overlooked in the pursuit of our big dreams, small wins. I know you're probably thinking, small wins? Why should I celebrate those when I've got huge goals ahead of me? But here's the thing, those little victories, they're essential. We're all chasing big goals, whether it's landing that dream job, finishing a big project, or achieving something massive in our personal lives. But the truth is, those major accomplishments don't happen overnight. They're built piece by piece with tiny steps, small victories, and daily wins. And today, I want to show you how celebrating small wins can actually be the key to staying motivated, keeping your energy high, and making real progress. When we only focus on the big picture, we tend to overlook all the small steps that get us there. But guess what? Every small win you have is worth celebrating. And it's exactly what keeps you moving forward when the going gets tough. So, let's dive into why we need to start appreciating those smaller moments of progress. Trust me, once you start celebrating the small wins, you'll notice how much more momentum you have in reaching your bigger goals. Let's get started. Alright, so why are small wins so powerful? At first glance, they might seem insignificant. But let me tell you, those tiny victories are the foundation of success. Think about it. No one runs a marathon without first learning to jog, right? The same goes for any big goal. When you complete a task, stick to a routine, or even just make a little bit of progress toward a bigger goal, that's a small win. And it matters way more than you might think. Each small win triggers a dopamine release in your brain. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical that makes you feel accomplished. It's like your brain's way of saying, nice job, keep going. And when your brain gets that little boost, you're more likely to stay motivated and keep pushing forward. Small wins also create momentum. The more you celebrate those little victories, the more you build a sense of achievement and confidence. Before you know it, you'll be on your way to those bigger wins, but one small victory at a time. So, next time you cross something off your to-do list or take a step toward your goal, give yourself a moment to celebrate. Those small wins are laying the foundation for your success. Embrace them and watch how they keep you motivated on your journey. All right, so we've talked about why small wins are so important, but let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind them. When you experience a small win, your brain rewards you with a boost of dopamine, the feel-good chemical that makes you feel like a champion. It's like your brain's way of saying, hey, you're doing great, keep it up. Here's the cool part. This isn't just a fleeting feel-good moment. That dopamine hit actually reinforces the behavior that led to the win. So the more you celebrate small victories, the more likely you are to repeat those actions that led to success. It's like building a habit of success. And the best part, these small wins build up over time. It's not about one big win here and there. It's about consistent progress. Imagine if you stacked up 100 small wins. You'd have 100 steps closer to your ultimate goal. And that's not something to overlook. So the next time you accomplish something small, like finishing a task on your to-do list or sticking to your workout routine, remember, it's not just about what you did. It's about creating a positive feedback loop in your brain that keeps you motivated. Those little wins add up, and before you know it, you're on the path to something big. Now here's a mindset shift I want you to really consider. Celebrate progress, not perfection. So often we're obsessed with getting everything just right, and if things aren't perfect, we feel like we haven't achieved anything. But here's the secret. Progress is the real victory. When you're constantly striving for perfection, you're setting yourself up for burnout. You're chasing something that's elusive and often unattainable. Instead of fixating on that perfect end result, try focusing on the steps you've taken and the progress you've made. For example, let's say you're working on a huge project. You may not finish it all in one go, but if you complete a small part of it, that's progress. If you stick to your workout routine, even when it feels hard, that's progress. And that's worth celebrating. When you start celebrating the small victories, you're telling yourself, hey, I'm moving forward, and that's what counts. It takes the pressure off, helps you stay motivated, and reminds you that success is built on consistency, not perfection. So remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about recognizing the little steps you're taking toward getting closer to your goal. Progress over perfection always. Okay, now that we understand how powerful small wins are and why they matter, let's talk about some fun and creative ways to actually celebrate them. Because let's face it, celebrating progress should be enjoyable, right? It doesn't have to be a huge deal every time, but acknowledging your wins helps you stay motivated. First up, give yourself a high five or a fist pump. Sounds simple, but it's a great way to physically express your sense of achievement. Celebrate like you just won the championship. It may feel silly at first, but it's a quick and effective way to reinforce the positive behavior. Second, why not take a quick break? If you've just finished a task or made progress toward a goal, take a few minutes to relax. Stretch, breathe, or grab a cup of tea. This is your moment to recharge before moving on to the next step. It's a small celebration that can go a long way in keeping your energy up. Next, treat yourself. This doesn't have to be anything crazy. Maybe it's a nice snack, a few minutes of your favorite show, or a little something that brings you joy. The idea is to reward yourself for your efforts, even if it's just a tiny treat to acknowledge your hard work. Another way to celebrate is by journaling your wins. Take a moment at the end of each day or week to write down what you accomplished. It could be as simple as completed my workout or finished that presentation. Seeing all your small wins written down will remind you just how much progress you're actually making. Finally, share your wins with someone else. This could be a friend, family member, or even on social media. Celebrating with others makes your victory feel even sweeter and can inspire others to celebrate their wins too. Plus, it strengthens your support network. Because let's be honest, who doesn't want a cheerleader in their corner? The key here is to make celebrating small wins fun and meaningful. It doesn't have to be elaborate, but taking time to acknowledge your progress, no matter how small, keeps the motivation flowing. And it's these little celebrations that will keep you going on your journey to bigger successes. Now, let's talk about how small wins apply to different parts of your life. It's easy to think small wins only count in one area, like work or fitness. But trust me, these little victories show up everywhere. And when you recognize them, it can make every area of your life feel more rewarding. Let's start with personal growth. We're all on this journey to become better versions of ourselves. And guess what? Every little thing you do to improve is a win. Maybe it's choosing a healthier snack over junk food, or being kinder to yourself after a tough day. These may seem like tiny changes, but they're huge steps toward creating a positive mindset. Then there's fitness. This is where small wins really shine. Maybe you didn't crush your workout today, but you showed up. That's a win. Maybe you couldn't run that extra mile, but you ran just a little longer than last time. That's progress. And it's those moments that build a strong foundation for your fitness journey. You're creating consistency, and that's something worth celebrating. In your career, small wins might be finishing a project on time, completing a new skill, or just making progress on a big task you've been putting off. Each of these moments moves you forward. Maybe you didn't get a promotion today, but you made a huge stride in the right direction. Celebrate that momentum. Relationships are another area where small wins count. Spending quality time with a loved one, having a meaningful conversation, or even just making an effort to stay connected. These are all victories. Every small step you take to strengthen those bonds matters. They might seem small in the moment, but when you look back, you'll see how much they've shaped your relationships. Lastly, don't forget about creativity. You don't have to finish that entire novel or paint the masterpiece today. Maybe you wrote 500 words or sketched a new idea. That's progress. You're flexing your creative muscles, and each small act is a victory. It's about building momentum, not perfection. So remember, small wins aren't just about work or fitness. They're happening all around you, every day. Recognize them, celebrate them, and use them as fuel for the next step. Now, let's talk about why small wins matter in the long run. We've all heard the saying, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Well, small wins are like the signposts along the way that guide you to your bigger goals. Small wins are the building blocks of success. Each one is a step in the right direction, no matter how small it seems. The thing is, success isn't just about one huge leap. It's about consistent action over time. And that's what small wins give you: consistency. Every time you acknowledge your progress, you're reinforcing a habit of moving forward. But it's more than that. Small wins also help you build confidence. When you celebrate the little things, you're saying to yourself, I can do this. It helps you believe in your ability to achieve bigger things down the road. And the more you build that confidence, the more momentum you create. Think of it like compound interest. Just like how your money grows over time when you invest a little bit consistently, your achievements grow in the same way when you celebrate the small wins. Every small step adds up, and over time, you'll find yourself achieving more than you ever imagined. So, don't discount the power of small wins. They're what keep you motivated and moving forward, and in the long run, they're what turn your goals into reality. Celebrate the progress, because it all adds up. Now, let's talk about some of the obstacles you might face when it comes to celebrating small wins. A lot of us tend to overlook or dismiss small victories because we think they're not important enough. Or maybe you've heard yourself say things like, that's too small to celebrate, or I'll only be happy when I hit the big goal. But here's the thing, small wins matter. They're just as important as the big ones. And if you're not celebrating the little victories, you might burn out before you ever reach your bigger goals. One of the biggest obstacles is the tendency to compare ourselves to others. We see someone else's big win on social media and think, why should I celebrate my small win when they've accomplished so much more? But here's the thing, everyone's journey is different. Your small win is just as valuable as someone else's big win, and it deserves to be recognized. Another obstacle is perfectionism. We often feel like we need to achieve something grand before we can celebrate. But that mindset can leave you feeling frustrated and unfulfilled. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, recognize and celebrate the progress you've made along the way. Every little victory is part of the bigger picture, and it's worth acknowledging. Finally, there's the fear of judgment. You might worry that others will think you're celebrating too much over something small, or that your wins aren't impressive enough. But guess what? Celebrating your wins is a way to reinforce your success. It's a reminder to yourself that you're moving forward and you're worth celebrating. Don't let fear hold you back from enjoying your progress. The key here is to embrace your small wins. Don't let these obstacles stop you from acknowledging the little victories that are propelling you forward. They matter, and they are the fuel that keeps you going. Let's dive into something important: resilience. The ability to bounce back after challenges is crucial on any journey. But you might not realize that celebrating small wins plays a huge role in building that resilience. Life is full of setbacks. Whether it's a project that doesn't go as planned, a goal you don't quite hit, or just a tough day, challenges are inevitable. But how you handle those challenges is what matters most. And that's where small wins come into play. When you celebrate small wins, you're reminding yourself that progress is still progress, even when things don't go perfectly. It's a reminder that you're moving forward, no matter how small the step. This consistent recognition of progress builds mental toughness. It trains your mind to focus on what's going well, instead of dwelling on the things that didn't go as planned. For example, let's say you're working on a project and hit a few roadblocks. Instead of throwing in the towel, take a step back and celebrate any progress you've made. Maybe you've completed part of the project or learned something new along the way. That's a win. Each small win boosts your resilience because it shows you that you can keep going, even when things get tough. By focusing on those small wins, you're reinforcing your ability to persevere. The more you celebrate your progress, the more you'll build the mental and emotional strength to overcome future obstacles. So when life throws curveballs your way, you'll be ready to face them with a positive mindset, knowing that even small wins are valuable. One of the biggest struggles we face in achieving our goals is staying consistent. It's easy to get motivated at the start, but maintaining that momentum over time can be difficult. That's where celebrating small wins can truly help. When you take a moment to celebrate each small win, you're reinforcing the habit of consistency. Think about it. Every time you recognize progress, you're telling yourself, I can do this, and I'm doing it. That feeling of accomplishment fuels your next action, making it easier to stay on track. Consistency isn't about doing everything perfectly every day. It's about showing up, taking small steps, and building that momentum over time. And small wins are the perfect fuel for that. For example, let's say your goal is to improve your fitness. You might not be seeing drastic changes right away, but if you focus on the small wins, like completing a workout, sticking to your routine, or feeling more energetic, that's progress. And that progress keeps you consistent. Consistency is the secret sauce for long-term success. Small wins act as milestones along your journey, keeping you on track and motivated. So if you ever feel like you're losing steam, go back to those small wins and celebrate them. They're the little reminders that you're still moving forward, even on days when progress feels slow. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked in the pursuit of goals: joy. We're all focused on the big outcomes, the huge goals, the massive achievements. But in the process of chasing those, we can forget to enjoy the journey. That's why celebrating small wins is key to finding joy in the process. When you celebrate the little victories along the way, you start to appreciate the present moment instead of always looking ahead. It's easy to get caught up in the I'll be happy when mentality. I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll be happy when I lose 20 pounds. But that mindset makes it hard to enjoy the now. Small wins help you shift your focus back to the present. Every time you recognize a small victory, whether it's a completed task, a healthy choice, or a step forward in your project, you're training your brain to enjoy the progress you're making, rather than just focusing on the destination. Let's take fitness as an example again. Maybe you haven't reached your goal weight, but you're feeling stronger, more energized, and more confident. Those small wins, feeling stronger, completing a workout, are moments of joy in the process. It's not just about the end goal. It's about celebrating where you are now. The more you celebrate small wins, the more joy you'll find in the process. It helps you enjoy the journey, rather than feeling like happiness is always out of reach. So start looking for the small victories in your day-to-day life, and you'll find that success doesn't have to be something you wait for. It's something you can enjoy right now. Let's talk about habits, the building blocks of success. You may have heard that what you do every day shapes who you become. But building habits that lead to success can be tough. Here's where celebrating small wins becomes a game changer. When you're trying to build a positive habit, whether it's working out regularly, eating healthier, or getting better at time management, it can feel daunting, especially when you're just starting out. But small wins help you reinforce those habits, even on days when things feel difficult or when the progress is slow. For example, let's say you've set a goal to exercise more. You may not be able to do an hour-long workout at first, but if you celebrate even a short workout or just getting yourself to the gym, you're reinforcing that behavior. These small wins create momentum, and with momentum comes consistency. Eventually, those small steps become automatic habits. Small wins also make it easier to stick with your new habits because you're constantly reinforcing the behavior you want to continue. Your brain loves rewards, so when you celebrate your progress, whether that's doing a quick dance after a workout or giving yourself a little treat for sticking to your new habit, you're encouraging your brain to continue that action. Over time, those small wins will lead to positive habits that are ingrained in your routine. So, when you're working on building a new habit, remember to celebrate the small wins along the way. Patience and consistency are key, and recognizing your progress will help solidify those positive habits that'll carry you to your long-term goals. You know what's amazing? When you start celebrating your own small wins, you can inspire others to do the same. There's power in positivity, and by sharing your progress, you encourage the people around you to recognize their own achievements, no matter how small. Think about it. How often do we see someone post about a huge win or achievement, and then we feel a little less motivated or compare ourselves? But what if instead, we all started celebrating the smaller, everyday victories? It would create a culture of support, encouragement, and celebration. It would remind everyone that success isn't just about the destination. It's about the journey and the little steps we take every single day. Start by sharing your small wins with those around you. Whether it's a social media post, a quick chat with a friend, or telling your partner how proud you are of yourself. Sharing your victories helps normalize the idea that progress is something worth celebrating at every stage. And when others see you celebrating those wins, they might start to do the same. Plus, when we celebrate each other's small wins, it strengthens our relationships and boosts our collective motivation. Imagine how much more motivated and energized we would all feel if we focused on the everyday victories, instead of just the big, rare achievements. So, be that person who spreads positivity by celebrating the small wins with others. When you recognize the progress in your life, it inspires others to see their own and fosters a community where we uplift each other, one small victory at a time.